Chapter 1: Embark on a Journey. You are listening at FameTV.info. Ethan squeezed his throat, then gently sipped the water in the wooden spoon. Only the last bit of water is left. If I can no longer see the land or if it rains, I may be the first traverser to die of thirst. Looking at the bottom of the bucket, Ethan felt the method of death was so frustrating, it was almost ashamed of the Transcendence clan. Put down the wooden spoon and covered the bucket. Ethan, who stood at the front of the boat again, told himself in his heart, the road to heaven is inexhaustible. Everything will get better. Standing up straight, looking at the endless sea, expecting something to appear at the end of the line of sight. Anything is fine, as long as it is not the endless sea. Raised his left hand and concentrated his mind. A light blue brilliance suddenly appeared in the palm of his upward-facing palm, and then a blue translucent ball of light appeared in Ethan's hand. There is nothing peculiar about the ball of light, except that there is an arrow-like object in the center pointing to the direction the boat is sailing. I firmly believe that you are my golden finger, but don't cheat me. Thinking back to the past few years when he came to this strange world, Ethan suddenly felt that it was really unreliable to pin his hopes on something that he didn't know what it was. In the future you can't do this kind of dumb things. If there is a future. Ethan, also called Ethan in his previous life, the only difference is that his surname in the previous life is E, but in this world he does not even have a surname, only a simple name. Senator Ethan in his previous life is a very ordinary person. His studies are not bad, his behavior is not bad, and he has found a job that doesn't make a profit or loses. I thought that he would have lived his life in this way, but he did not expect that a sudden illness would kill him, and he would have been in this world when he woke up. Fortunately, he was directly attached to a seriously ill boy, and he fully received the boy's memory, learned the language of this world and some basic knowledge, so that he quickly integrated into the new world without being caught by the boy. S. father found something wrong in this way. He gradually grew up under the nurturing of his new father, and in the past few years he has also let him know what kind of world it is like. A world full of seawater. The land is so scarce that it can't support too many people. Even if the ocean climate near the island is rich in seafood, there is a limit. In the past few years, Ethan has seen countless people leave everything about themselves to their children, and then rush to the completely unknown sea by boat alone to find the endless land in the legend. No one came back. Ethan himself had never seen it, and I have never heard of any examples from a few elderly people. Therefore, Ethan came to a conclusion. This is a backward and ignorant island, following the simplest rules to continue life, and those who go to sea just give the chance to live to their offspring. The so-called endless land may be just an ordinary continent, but it is difficult to reach by the ships of this island. They all died at sea, right? Otherwise, there is no reason why there are no examples of returning, and there can be no one who wants to take away his wife and children, right? Is this true? Ethan doesn't know, but when he was 16, his father contracted a serious illness after returning from a sea trip, and died after persisting for half a month. In the days that followed, after Ethan fulfilled the obligations that a son should do, he did not take over his father's job, and entered the most popular fishing fleet on this island, but found his father already quietly. After the prepared boat was filled with supplies, it embarked on the journey to find that endless land. He made this choice, except for his unwillingness to spend his life on an island of backward and ignorant once again, because of the peculiar light ball pointer in his hand. It was vague and unformed at the beginning, and gradually formed but flickered as if disturbed, and now it can maintain the shape of the photosphere stably without any problems. It took Ethan 7 full years. In the past 7 years, since Ethan could see that it was a pointer, the direction it pointed has never changed, and it has pointed to a fixed direction very firmly. Past lives have been poisoned by many novels. Ethan feels that this is telling himself, leave that little island with no future, a brighter future awaits you. Going out to sea, from unfamiliar to gradually proficient, the theoretical knowledge learned from my father gradually turned into practical skills. Although occasionally some mistakes may be made in his hands, but fortunately this sea area is very gentle, and there are no violent storms. This rookie has enough time to improve his driving proficiency, especially as the 3 arrows on the pointer of the light ball in his hand became 2, and now it has become 1 again. Some of the troubles he encountered after going out to sea seemed to disappear, and he was more and more looking forward to the treasure he was about to obtain, until the clear water on the boat was about to run out. He finally realized that he was on the boundless sea, and no one would come to rescue him. All his reliance was on this small boat less than 10 meters long. With Shimizu, I'm afraid he won't survive for 3 days. Sure enough. I was an ordinary person in my previous life. How could it be possible to become the center of the world of the children of the plain? Looking at the extremely dry bucket that had been exposed to the sun, Ethan completely calmed down instead. It's useless to be in a hurry. Now I am either looking forward to rain, or I can only hope for this pointer that doesn't know where to point. Desperate Ethan has almost squeezed out his full potential, not only drives the boat fast, but also uses the few remaining fruits with moisture to maintain his body's needs. In this way, he reluctantly persisted for another 5 days, and when he was almost unable to persist, Ethan found that the light ball pointer in his hand had finally changed. Did not continue to point forward, but firmly pointed down. Are there? Here. Putting away the sails and dropping the anchor, Ethan looked around blankly. The scenery in his eyes did not change at all. It was still the endless sea. Is it under the sea? His complexion has become worse. Ethan has lived on the island in his life and relies on the sea for his food. Of course, his water quality is not bad, but he has been sailing on the sea for so many days, and he has never seen land. Who knows that he is here? How deep is the Sea of Kata? The only color that can be judged, it's amazing. After he has been driving for so long, the color of the sea is still light blue with a little green. Although it means that it is not a true deep sea, it is not that a person can dive to the bottom without any equipment. I was pitted, sighed helplessly. And I was killed directly. I just don't know if I will be killed again this time. Ethan sat helplessly on the bow, wondering if he should jump down and fight. Maybe drowning is better than thirst. Thinking wildly, raising his left hand again, Ethan suddenly found a strange change in his hand. Originally, apart from concentrating his mental energy on his left hand and summoning the ball of light pointers, there was nothing special about his left hand, but this time, he found a complicated pattern on the back of his left hand. This, as the pattern became clearer, he could gradually see what it was. Looks like a magic circle. Just when the magic circle finally took shape and began to emit a soft blue light, a mental force suddenly counterattacked back into his brain from the left back. In an instant, Ethan suddenly understood what was going on with this thing. Ha ha ha, the sky is boundless. Cough cough cough. As expected, Ethan, who was almost choked to death, no longer stood on the bow, but walked to the most stable place in the middle of the boat, then knelt on one knee and placed his left hand on the ground. To mobilize all my mental power. I am not in a good state, and I don't know if it will be enough. In any case, Ethan decided to try it first. If he fails this time, he may be able to try again with the last bit of food left. If he takes a break, his spiritual head raised by surprise may be lost. UU reading www.uukaungshu.com can't make it too late to die before that time. There is no choice at all, fight it. Desperate Ethan sent all of his mental power to his left hand. Year after year of practice made him do it with ease, almost without any difficulty. The magic circle that received the attention of Ethan's spiritual power became more and more dazzling, and finally burst out with a dazzling light, and also showed a magic circle pattern exactly the same as the back of his hand on the ground. It's done. Seeing the magic circle appear, Ethan knew that he had succeeded. The mental power fed back from the magic circle to his mind not only let him know the usage, but also the posture of the successful activation of the magic circle, and even the function of the magic circle, told Ethan. Plain shuttle, this is the function of this magic circle. Ethan, who has been influenced by the internet, does not need to think about what this means. Although there are still boundless risks in it, he has no choice when he is dying of thirst right now. No matter what, I won't be sent to a place where I can't even drink my saliva. Just as the light of the magic circle gradually engulfed Ethan, and when the teleportation was about to begin, Ethan suddenly felt dizzy, as if he fell directly to the ground because of his weakness after a continuous night at school. It actually fell at the last moment. It's really bad. Before his consciousness disappeared, Ethan saw the brilliance slowly dissipating around him in a daze. A group of people in robes were looking at him with vigilant faces. One of them, a bald woman in a yellow robe, walked towards him slowly. What seems to be saying in your mouth? Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.